So that connecting rod is not supposed to have that curve?
Yes, you are not a candidate for rebuilding this engine. I can tell you that right from that question you just asked. And I don't mean to be ignorant or disrespectful to you, but I am a realist.
Yeah.
No.
That's fine.
Connecting rod is, no, that's bent. That's broken.
Oh.
What's up, friends? What's up, sailors? This is Fossil Fool coming at you, and you just heard the hilarious moment when the expert on the Atomic 4 engine in the whole country told me that I am not the guy to fix these. And I am almost 100% sure that my neglect of this engine caused its complete failure on a sailing day in the Oakland Shipping Channel. I wish I had footage of the sensational moments when white smoke was billowing out the back of the boat, and we didn't even know if it was on fire down there or just smoking. It pounded and pounded until it was curved, and then this thing busted open. And so yeah, all of these things just like kind of came out from the engine. Fast forward a few months, we are standing underneath a completed solar arch, and I've installed a functioning electric system. I decided to go for it. For the rest of this video, we're going to take you into the electrification process, my unusual approach to do a chassis style build. Some of the fun moments like biking to the water with this relatively ultralight sailboat motor. I want to talk about the decision to create a chassis like this. Here we are in the shop with a nice clean table with all of the parts and pieces of the electric repowering. I'd love to know what you're interested in seeing. We did shoot a lot of the process of the custom work of adapting my shape to the boat and building it all up. But please do drop a comment down there, because we're still editing and could serve you up what you want to see.
Anytime with an engine you hear a bang, a clank, a clunk, or a bonk, it's bad, real bad. A tick and a click and a ting and a ding isn't usually, but that thing made bad noises before that broke.
It had a knocking sound.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Probably spun a bearing, and then the continued running of it bent the connecting rod, broke the piston, and perhaps damaged the cylinder bore and maybe the crankshaft. So there is a whole sequence of events.
Because I feel like I could have easily avoided it if I checked oil once a month or something, and I stopped thinking about it. I totally stopped giving it attention.
So as an environmentalist, I love bicycles and I hate gasoline. And that distance that I had with gasoline actually created this problem, because I was disengaged from doing the most basic maintenance on my engine. I want to give a big shout out to Ken at Moyer Marine for being so helpful with me. Moyer Marine's link is in the description below. If you want to properly maintain your Atomic 4 engine, I recommend you do so. It would be better for the environment than replacing it with something else. So maybe this video will help one person get inspired to look into that weird knocking sound. Using the electric car today and the help of Lem, my employee, and two neighbors to hoist the Atomic 4 off the Cal 33, and something's telling me that it's never going to go back on, and I'm feeling pumped to maybe go electric. Feels like it's me. It's like something that I'm better suited at maintaining, and so this kind of catastrophic failure is less likely to happen again because I'm not going to be as disengaged from the process. There were like 40,000 of these motors made around the 70s, 60s, and 70s, and 20,000 of them are still in existence.
Setting up the hoist, and as soon as I tension it up, the engine slides over and gives the boat a bump. So we got to be a little bit smarter and use the existing lines, such as the jibe preventers, to keep the boom where we want it during the hoist. Now Sean takes over and does the actual lifting. One pull at a time, and the engine's going up a few inches each time with each pull from the 6-to-1 block and tackle.
This is my neighbor Sean, who introduced me to my puppy Cairo by passing me the name of the family that was in Brentwood, and I drove out there and got Cairo.
So this is a cool lift. We are pushing the engine away so that it doesn't scrape.
So this man on the hoist is my puppy's uncle, and we're still friends, and the puppies get to play together because he got one of them too.
And the boat is heeling over hard, but it's not going to go over any further than this because it's got 5,000 pounds of lead down there. Got great camaraderie and teamwork. I want to say a big shout out once again to Brian, Sean, and Lem for this lift. That was a lot of fun. And now we are going to pull it down towards our cart.
All right, so now let's untie the sling and let's, that was great. It's a good day for making progress. It wasn't a problem that I expected to have, but we're going for it. Sweet. Should I back the trailer up or?
Here's one of two raw lifts that we had to do. This one was just a couple feet from one cart to the pallet. And now we had to do the same thing, but for about 5 feet onto the trailer. The oil starts leaking out of the massive hole that was punched in the side of the engine by the thrown cylinder.
So now we're using the electric car, towing the Atomic 4 back to the shop. That was a very heavy lift. We had 4 people, but what do you think it weighed? 300?
I weigh about 300 pounds.
Yeah, I think it weighed about 300. It's been very fun working with Lem on this project. Got to get outside, rock the bike a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying what I'm doing here in this video and here on YouTube, please fiddle with the stuff down there. Help me along with a like, subscribe, and post your thoughts in the comments. I've actually learned quite a bit about sailing from YouTube commenters. So now let's get back into it. You're gonna see me back in the early days of adjusting to having just ruined my engine and making some of the early decisions about whether to repair the gas or go electric. My biggest concern about going electric is that when we were on our way back from the Delta this year, we did like 6 hours straight of motoring into the wind. If it weren't for those days where we might need to do 6 hours straight, then it would be a very easy decision. 300 pounds, I think, might be as much as 20 kilowatts, 20 kilowatt hours. Plus you have to think about the weight of the gasoline. 25-gallon tank is gonna weigh 200 pounds, plus the alternator, the starter. The muffler, that's heavy, right? And then 200 for the gas tank when it's full. So that's 600 pounds. That's the budget. I think
Just to explain why I'm going into detail about the various weights of the gas system, it's that I really love the way this boat moves through the water, and I don't want it to change after switching to electric. So I'm hoping the electric system will be about the same weight as the gas.
I think you can get a motor electric system with a 20 kilowatt hour battery for under 500 pounds. And then you got to get some solar, but that's cool because it can provide shade. But if this Atomic 4 can be maintained with only a few parts, then that seems like a good way to go. So we shall see.
When I was considering the decision of whether to try to refurbish the Atomic 4, replace it with a rebuilt one for maybe $7,000, and then you can go on Craigslist and get one of unknown condition for free all the way up to $3,000 or $4,000. The things that pushed me towards electric were, it's more me. I am more comfortable with this technology. I've done similar builds before on electric bikes and on my smaller boat, the First Mod, and they always have the same parts. You know, you always have a controller, you always have the motor, there's always connectors. You know, the whole water cooling thing is new for me, but not that crazy. I'm also documenting the decision to create a liftable chassis that kind of resembles like the Starship Enterprise or something. So I wanted to work with this chassis idea because I enjoyed, honestly, the process of lifting the Atomic 4 out of the boat. And I thought it would be cool to do it with a chassis so that it's a single lift, so that you can just bring it to the boat, drop it down in, and then connect relatively few things. I also find the process of working in the close quarters of my Cal 33 really limiting, kind of unpleasant. You're always looking for tools that aren't quite there. It's like a great way to make your back sore. And anything that I could do to do more of the work here and less at the marina where I'm feeling limited, and also I'm feeling like further from my business, like if my employee has a question for me and I want to go speak to them, or they want to walk in, they can reach me here, but they can't do that down at the marina.
So this is a great day. We're heading to the marina. I got my friend Caleb with me. I got my doggy with me. Cairo, look at the camera. Good. And we decided to do a bicycle ride to the marina versus the electric car because we're bike people and it's 2 fewer lifts actually. It's there's no need to lift it from the car into a wheelbarrow. So it could be actually easier. So anyway, we're gonna take the bikeway to the marina and then test this thing out that I've been working for 2 months on. So yeah, the Fossil Fool YouTube channel got a lot of interest when I was doing videos about bike sailing. So today is a sweet day because we're doing a form of bike sailing where we're at least biking to the marina. The ride to the marina takes about twice as long as driving, maybe 3 times as long. But then when it comes to passing through the doorway, it's gonna be a lot easier with the cargo bike, and we'll get a shot of that. So we are on one of the 2 frontage roads right next to Highway 80 here in Berkeley, approaching the Berkeley Marina, and I'll just give you a shot of the rig. Thanks, Caleb. Almost everything's already at the boat, and it's an easy ride, mostly flat. We have one hill coming up, which is that bridge in the distance. That's the only hill. But with this chassis weighing in at 120 pounds, it's just not that hard. This is a level of cargo biking that most people could do if they just got a little practice with it. This is the only real hill on the way to the marina. Coming over Highway 80 during normal traffic conditions with the rig and with my doggy. And there's the marina in the distance. We're almost there. So we're gonna get hopefully a chance to try out this contraption today. That guy said, I thought I carried a lot of crap on my bike. I've dropped that thing more than once.
At 120 pounds, the electric chassis is liftable by 2, not 4 people.
Okay, let's go inside.
Using the 6-to-1 block and tackle, it's easy to lift it from the boom. Dropping it into the boat is stress-free.
Okay.
Moving it around is easy.
Yep, thanks.
There are some cables sticking out to the side, which I'm about to learn, and Caleb's keeping his eye on things.
Check this out, Paul, from back here. This and this are hitting.
The bronze fitting.
Then we'd have more room.
Easy.
This stack can get tilted a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach for the tight wrench. Okay, go ahead.
Nothing like a mouthful of salt water to let you know you're committed to your electrifying project.
Keep it on. Tell me if it's going out the back of the boat.
Yep.
Okay, stop.
Stop.
It's leaking through the electrical tape.
Oh, man. This custom system. Wowzers. What do you say, Kyra?
Yes, we're celebrating. The install was successful. We are moving. We're not using very much power right now because we don't have the functioning cooling system fully operational, but I can tell you that we are using 20 amps, which is 1,000 watts. So not too bad for 1,000 watts. So this is 1,000 watts. And seems
Nice momentum. Gentle momentum.
seems okay for a calm day, but
Yeah, we wouldn't get you through
we
the,
need more like
swell.
5,000 watts. Hearing like that thrumming sound sounds a little bit like a wobbling, but we are going faster. Pretty good overall. I mean, the sound of, I was hoping it would be a little bit quieter. Now I'm gonna see if I can back into our slip speed to where we might be able to get it right here. Wow. And there's our bikes. Here we are in the shop with a nice clean table with all of the parts and pieces of the electric repowering of my 50-year-old Cal 33 sailboat. We have the motor itself. This thing weighs about 34 pounds, so I'm not going to lift it. We have the gear reducer, which also seems to weigh about 30, 40, 50 pounds, something like that. The gear reducer is from the very front of the Atomic 4. So this used to live here. It was not painted blue. And I removed, and it's not bolted together, so you can actually see what is going on. There's the inner gear and the outer gear, and that is the essence of the gear reduction. Carefully put that back together. Next we have the motor controller. This thing weighs maybe 10, 15 pounds and another couple pounds of aluminum with a nice snaking tube of copper through it. This is the liquid cooling system. Another part of the liquid cooling system is the heat exchanger. Raw water from the through hull comes through the heat exchanger and goes out. And then the smaller fittings connect to the smaller hose, which then connects to the pathway, so that the heat exchanger and the motor, which also has the same ports, are going to have one long pathway. And the pathway gets the fluid moved through it by this unusual pump, which actually is taken from the world of computer case modding. So this brand that's on here, which is called Alpha Cool, they make a lot of pumps for people doing computer case mods. And if I get my face out of the way, you'll see that there's actually little LEDs inside there. So this pump is going to glow when we're running the motor, which is kind of cool. And now the last couple items are on the smaller side. This is a contactor or a relay. It has a small wire that goes in that tells the system to be on, and then there's a connection that's closed inside, and then the main power of the controller will go through this heavy wiring and then out to the system. There's a couple other little parts and pieces in here. There's a panic button, which I have a mounting place for. And then there's a connector bank. There's only 2 connectors plugged in, but
all of these other things have connectors. So everything comes back to this point, and that's gonna live up here on this piece of, on this shelf. It's about 130. We're gonna do this. I've got the whole surface clean. I've got my parts and pieces that I think I'm likely to use, all placed on the surface. I've got my tools that I think I'm likely to use, and we're gonna show how we take all the parts and put them on the chassis. I'm gonna start with the motor. We need to grab the motor. We need to weigh down, and this motor is 34 pounds, so even like trying to grab it like that is not very pleasant. Now I have to reach through, and it pretty well drops into the place where it goes. Now you can see that the motor has 3 power connections for the 3 phases, and then there's going to be a cap that goes on there, and then it has some kind of like a data connection that is going to connect to the connector bank. So let's see, the next step in the process would be to tighten the bolts for the motor, and then the installation of the gear reducer would be next. And we've got now 25 minutes before the dentist appointment, and so we're going for just enough to feel like we got started here. We're not going to tighten them super tight because there's still the step of aligning the shaft to the shaft of the gear reducer. The experts at Moyer Marine were telling me that this engine is beyond repair, and I was hoping to get some value from it. And I looked at this gear reducer and I'm like, maybe I can get that, and then I would save, I think I saved like about $1,000 on the gear reducer. So now we're gonna take a look at what we just did and see what the issues are. And right away I'm seeing potentially a need for more washers. So should I go backwards or should I go forwards? This isn't the last time that I'm gonna be here in this area. I do want to paint the whole thing. Let's go forwards. Let's now try to put the gear reducer on from above, kind of with the theory that, wow, these things are quite heavy. By working vertically, and now I have to get the shaft coupler in there, or else I'll lose my chance. Is it dripping oil? I don't want oil to be dripping. Now let's see how we did there. We need now one of the longer hex to go through here. Now let's check the alignment, and the alignment is not that great yet. So I'm hoping that that gets better. We're just gonna do 2 for now because I might have to redo this. Take a little bit of a weight measurement before proceeding to the next step. Scale's been on for several days, that's too bad. And in order to get an accurate
weight, you also have to tie off the lifting rope. And we are at 78.5. So what's next on the build today? Let's get the relay on there next. And now the alignment step has already happened, and I'm really happy with that. This one is a heat exchanger, 9.4 pounds. So now let's get this into place. These are M6 threads. And the speed controller is gonna fit down in here, in this area. The speed controller has to be mated to this cooling plate. The cooling plate has a circuitous line of copper in it, and that same line is what goes through this pump, through the heat exchanger, and through the motor. And so all of the clear tubes are part of one large pathway. My hope is that by doing it here at my bench, I'm gonna have better results than if I did it down at the boat. So this step is going to involve applying grease. Smear some of this correct grease on there to both surfaces because I want to see a nice squeeze out. It's going to come in from this angle, and then it's going to rest where it goes. There are so many cables already attached to, and I don't want to mess up the grease. The frame is also very tight right here. It's getting bound on the frame right now, but it's going to work, and it's already in place. It's in, but it's not finding its hole yet. So that might do it. There it is. All right, so now I've got the controller mounted. And for the connector bank, we're going to use these 1032 screws. The next item is the panic button. Panic button is going to happen by threading the big fat connector through there. It's a good way to protect the wiring. Okay, so now we're at a place where we could install the main power cables onto the terminals. And let's try it now. Now we're up at 114 for the chassis with most of the important things already added. So that's kind of cool. That means that 2 people can lift this. So this is going to work out. 114 for a chassis that has the controller, the motor, the gear reducer, and the heat exchanger. And now we're going to add the pump, which is just about 2 pounds. So now we're up to 116 for the weight of the chassis. And this piece glows like a lantern with its own LEDs. And we're going to, oh, it's upside down. Yep. That glow is also going to show whether there's fluid flow. And if there's fluid flowing through it, which we should be able to just see, then we know that all is well. We can also check the screen. The system has a screen that shows the temperatures. What we're really getting is the installation of the cooling system on the same chassis, which is going to mean that the system does not need to be bled. Yeah, dealing with the hoses at the boat did not seem like fun to me. Okay, that's working. It seems like it's working. Oh yeah. Not even sure these things are gonna really need clamps, but look at what we've got here. We've got a 116-pound chassis
with everything connected, there's almost nothing still on the table. And I think I'm gonna take a break. This has been a really going for it kind of a session that I've prepared for. And I think I need to eat some food right now. This one, maybe I'll loosen it up because it's aiming a little bit off in the caps. Okay, stretch the booty over the bolt. Now let's see what we got with this. Oh, that is a nice fit. Oh man, look at that. So we have our chassis. This is like ready to lift down into the boat. I want to talk about the decision to create a chassis like this. It has to be evaluated against what would have happened otherwise. So let me show you the steel plate that they sell at Electric Motorsport for the purposes of mounting. So this is the steel mounting plate that they sell. It matches up to the holes on the motor and the large hole, you know. It's just like, this is just the way to take your motor and place it down on something and then weld it at the correct angle. So instead of doing that, I engaged with the process of taking the motor and pressing it down into wet carbon fiber. And then that is the way that I created the alignment, because I did that while holding it against the gear reduction. So hopefully by curing it at the alignment that I wanted, I was able to achieve the ideal alignment to where the shaft collar will pass easily from the shaft of the reducer to the shaft of the motor, and there won't be any feeling of the shaft coupler going around a corner, you know, when that happens. The other primary function of the chassis, besides looking cool at the end, hopefully, is to reduce the sprawl. In the process of deciding whether to go electric, I did research. A lot of my research was here on YouTube, and I saw a number of different projects. One of the things that I saw on other people's projects was a sprawl of components all bolted to different places near their engine. So you would have, you know, the controller mounted somewhere. You would have the heat exchanger mounted somewhere. You would have the vacuum pump mounted somewhere. I didn't want to drill like a bunch of new holes in the boat that I don't really need to drill. Like, I just wanted it to be compact. The motor ends up being about the same size as the chassis, but there's going to be a lot more space freed up by the electric build because there's a bunch of other stuff. You know, the motor used to have bolted to the wall that is no longer going to be bolted to the wall. And my hope is that by creating a dense chassis, there's going to be less stuff, and I could maybe use the space for other purposes, like storage space, even the gas tank, which is no longer, you know, needed. That's going to be potential storage space for something like a kayak.
We did shoot a lot of the process of the custom work of adapting my shape to the boat and building it all up.
Whoa, that was excellent. Nice.
I'd love to know what you're interested in seeing. Please do drop a comment down there and let me know that you're alive and kicking alongside me. From me and Cairo, my bull doggy, my brindle doggy. It's always fun to bring you in when we're doing stuff together. Take a moment to share the excitement. So wish us luck, y'all. Thank you.